In these uncertain economic times, it's easy to be worried about protecting your wealth, your hard-earned savings, and your family's financial future. Plunging interest rates, the devaluating dollar, and political unrest constantly threaten what you have worked hard to earn and all that you own. That's why now it's more important than ever to protect your assets and have the money you need to make your dreams come true. Welcome to the Global Wealth Fortress Report with successful global entrepreneur and wealth preservation expert Joel Nagel. Joel's helped thousands of people just like you protect what you have so that you can make even more and make your every dream come true. So, sit back and enjoy Joel Nagel's offshore expert advice on how you can live the good life at a great price, where the sun never sets on your financial fortress.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Global Wealth Fortress Report. I'm Joel Nagel and I'm speaking to you today from the island of San Miguel in the Azore Islands. The Azores are a chain of 9 islands located about 2/3 of the way between North America and the European continent. They belong to Portugal, and it's one of the reasons we're here. We have Portuguese residents, and it would seem like a nice place to try to get away for the holidays. We spent Christmas in our home city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and endured a lot of cold and snow. And quite frankly, the governor of Pennsylvania severely locked down our state there in terms of where you could go and what you could do, and they even asked people not to visit their family over the holidays. We decided to come back here to the Azores. I come here fairly frequently now as it's en route between North America and Europe, and for me I like it just because it breaks up the trip. Instead of having a really long flight, I fly from Pittsburgh to Boston and then Boston over to the Azores. It's about a 3.5-hour flight to the Azores, and then from the Azores to Portugal, Lisbon, it's about another 2 hours. So we decided to come here. It's really off season here. Quite frankly, the Azores are much more of a summer destination, but there are a few tourists here and there. They do have some COVID awareness, in the sense that if you go into, let's say, a restaurant or go on a bus, public transportation, or any place with a lot of people, you're supposed to wear masks. But basically everything's open. Furthermore, as you can see how I'm dressed, it's in the low 60s here, which is really pretty nice for the end of the year. And so I wanted to speak to you today as we exit 2020 and go into 2021, just about a few topics that I thought might make sense. And maybe we'll pick up on these topics tomorrow for New Year's Day and turn them into a New Year's resolution. But for today, I want to remind people that the people who were prepared prior to this most recent outbreak of COVID and political unrest, people who had a second residence, who had a second citizenship, were much freer and more able to travel and move around than those who weren't. One of the reasons we're one of the few tourists here is because Portuguese don't come here in the winter, and most foreign tourists aren't able to get the proper travel documents to come. For us, it was very easy. We had to get a COVID test, but we already had our Portuguese residency visa. So that's the thing. You have to prepare and have in advance the right kind of document. If you don't, if you wait until now and then say, oh, I'd like to start that process, it's difficult. And quite frankly, there are some people, we're helping clients work through the golden visa process right now, but obviously it's not ideal. Getting documents is hard, getting them notarized is hard, getting appointments with the immigration, with the consulate first and then the immigration in Lisbon is hard. It's not impossible, but it's much more difficult. So my advice to anybody watching this video is when the pandemic ends and you're able to travel more freely, use that opportunity to prepare, because I promise you this isn't going to be the last time that your freedom in terms of ability to travel is going to be undermined or threatened. The time to prepare is when there's no issues, when there's no problems. When there are issues and problems, it's a little bit too late. Now, some people think this is only for wealthy people. That's absolutely not true. There are many countries where for very nominal investments, in some cases no investment. In some cases you have to prove that you have a certain amount of income, whether it's pension income, retirement income, investment income, to be able to get residence. Portugal, their Golden Visa program, the standard investment amount is 500,000 euros, which is a little bit pricey, but there are ways that you can lower that amount, either because of where you're investing. The Azores, for example, is considered to be a depressed area economically. So instead of investing 500,000, you can invest as low as 350,000. There's also opportunities to have that brought down even further if you invest in certain kinds of historic rehab projects and things like that. We're looking at a couple of projects for single projects for individuals that want the whole project for themselves. We're also looking at a couple of really fantastic projects that would be collective group projects for people who want to, let's say, invest in a small hotel, things like that, where your investment will qualify you to get your residence. Then you can come and use the property because you have to come to Portugal at least one time per year. Again, the Azores is pretty attractive because it's easy to get to. When we flew over here, because there was so little demand, I think I paid the lowest airfares that we've ever paid. The economy tickets were about $250 and the business class tickets were twice that, so $500. Again, that's no more than getting on a plane in my hometown of Pittsburgh and flying to Florida or Texas or someplace like that. So the notion that it's only for rich people to be able to afford to have second residence is completely ridiculous. Some countries like Panama, rather than the kind of numbers I mentioned with Portugal, are much lower. There you can make an investment, legal fees, everything in the $20,000 range, and you can qualify for the Friendly Nation visa. That's another one that might be going away. So I would encourage you to, if you're interested in that program, you might want to jump on that quickly. There are lots of other programs. Belize, for example, the retirement residency starts at just 45 years of age. And if you can show you have enough net worth and income, you can qualify without making any kind of investment. So again, these types of programs are for everyone. Yes, there are some programs that are pricey. Some of them, the price tag can be over $1 million, and in certain countries like Austria, it's several $1 million. New Zealand, Singapore, in a country like Malta, you're going to write a check for $1 million to get their citizenship. So, those are a little bit more exclusive. They only process, several hundred applications per year. But some of these other programs going back, for example, Friendly Nations visa in Panama, it's literally for thousands and thousands of people a year. So again, I want to encourage you, as the year draws to a close, think about how you can better prepare yourself in the future. Prepare yourself, prepare your assets, prepare your estate planning and your asset protection. Those to me are the three big pillars. And in my New Year's message for tomorrow, I'm going to be talking in terms of those three things. I'm going to talk about how you can better position yourself, how you can better position your assets, and how you can better position your estate plan. Because all of those things are going to be affected in 2021. And I think it's important that you recognize that you jump on the opportunities that exist before they go away. Again, I'm not, some shrill trying to tell you, the sky's falling. I'm really not. But it's just a question of preparation. I'm a big fan of the Boy Scout motto, which is always hope for the best, prepare for the worst. If you come from North America, from the US, from Canada, you live in great countries, you have good travel documents, but still, we saw in the United States, for example, when Corona kicked in, the US passport, which one day was good in almost 160 countries without any visa fell to only 26. And it's slowly coming back. It's still very difficult to go to Europe for a North American. It's difficult to go to Australia, to New Zealand, to Japan, to Singapore. You just go down the list. Those places have become very hard to visit. So on that note, I want to wish you a very happy last day of the year. And until tomorrow, I wish you health, I wish you happiness, and I wish you a wealth that can't be taken away by others. Thanks, and have a great New Year's Eve.
Thanks for joining Joel Nagel and the Global Wealth Fortress Report, a whole new approach to asset protection and estate planning, so that now you can live the good life at a great price, where the sun never sets on your financial fortress.